Video 3.5, 4 types of sentence structures. The first type is the simple sentence. A simple sentence has one independent clause and no subordinate clauses. However, a simple sentence can be quite long and complicated. It may have a compound subject, a compound verb, and many different kinds of phrases. For example, this is a simple sentence. Unlike many other languages, the English alphabet has 26 letters to represent the sounds of its words. It only has one subject and one verb. Alphabet is the subject, has is the verb. The second type is a compound sentence. A compound sentence has two or more independent clauses and no subordinate clause. So it's kind of like two sentences. Here's an example. Alphabet comes from alpha and bet. These are the names of the first two letters in the Greek alphabet. In this case, there are two subjects, alphabet, and these, and two verbs, comes and are. The third type is complex sentence. A complex sentence has one independent clause and at least one subordinate clause. For example, the Cyrillic alphabet, which is the writing system for Russian, has 31 characters. In this case, there's a subordinate clause, which is the writing system for Russian, within the independent clause, with alphabet as the subject and has as the verb. And the fourth sentence type is compound complex sentences. A compound complex sentence has two or more independent clauses and at least one subordinate clause. For example, Sequoyah, who lived from 1776 to 1853, created a writing system and he taught it to other Cherokee. In this case, we've got a subject Sequoyah and a verb created, and then within that we have a subordinate clause, who lived from 1766 to 1843, with the subject who and the verb lived, and then we have another subject, he, at the end of the sentence, and taught as the verb. Let's take a practice test to identify sentence structure. Number 1. Every language has different rules, and there are many different writing systems. This is a compound sentence. There are two independent clauses. There's two subjects and two verbs. Language, has, and then remember there is never a subject, so it actually is at the end. Systems, are. Number 2, for example, Hebrew is written from right to left on horizontal lines. This is a simple sentence. There's one subject, Hebrew, and one verb, is written. The rest of that is a prepositional phrase. Number 3, a Hebrew book begins at what English speakers would consider the back of the book. This is a complex sentence. It's got one independent clause with a subject and verb, book begins, and then it's got a noun clause, what English speakers would consider the back of the book, that functions as the object of the preposition, at. And number 4, the traditional Chinese writing system doesn't use letters. This is a simple sentence. It's got one subject, system, and one verb, not use. And number 5, instead, the Chinese writing system, which dates back to the 14th century BC, uses ideograms, and each ideogram stands for a syllable or a whole word. This is a compound complex sentence. The main clause has a subject, system, and verb, uses. There is an adjective clause in the middle, which dates back to the 14th century BC. That's modifying system. And then there's another independent clause, ideogram stands, has a subject and verb. And then for a syllable or a whole word is a prepositional phrase. Good luck finding the 4 different sentence types on your own.